evening. You're welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We thank you for joining us. I am Lydia Ojije Ochi with the news. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, has been sworn in to take charge of as Nigeria's electoral umpire for another 5-year term. The swearing-in ceremony performed by President Muhammadu Buhari preceded the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the report.
I, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu.
An academic born in 1962, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu from Bauchi State will go down in history as the only Nigerian to serve for 2 terms as chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission. First appointed to the office in October 2015 by President Muhammadu Buhari, Professor Yakubu superintended the conduct of Nigeria's 2019 general elections, adjudged to be one of the most transparent and credible in the country. With his reappointment, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu is mandated to be in charge of affairs of the nation's electoral body when Nigerians return to the polls in 2023.
That I will preserve, protect, and defend the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
There was no presidential address at the brief swearing-in ceremony, but the returning INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, promised to discharge his responsibilities consistent with the oath of office taken, as well as his allegiance to the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
We have clearly demonstrated in recent elections that elections are getting better and better, and the elections will continue to get better and better. By coincidence today, the National Assembly is holding a public hearing on the amendment of the electoral legal framework. This is important, and this time around, working with the National Assembly will ensure the speedy passage of the amendment bill, and once it is assented to, it will help us enormously in confronting the challenges ahead. The preparations for the 2023 general elections have proceeded in earnest. We need certainty, and therefore the electoral legal framework is fundamental, without which we cannot formulate our regulations and guidelines. Without our regulations and guidelines, we cannot conclude work on the manual for the training of ad hoc staff for the elections.
With its vision to be one of the best election management bodies in the world, INEC, as the chairman often says, will remain committed to the conduct of free, fair, and credible elections for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Our next report from the Federal High Court says prosecution witness in the anti-graft case against former chairman of defunct Pension Reform Task Team, Abdulrasheed Maina, told the court that the defendant has a net worth of 3 billion naira. He stated this while giving evidence following investigation carried out to unravel the sources of income of the defendant. Austin Anyebe was in court and now reports.
Ruqayya Ibrahim, the 9th prosecution witness, an investigation with the EFCC said they uncovered 7 accounts in Fidelity Bank and UBA belonging to the accused, but managed by his brother and sister-in-law as the identities of the original account holder, such as his name, signature, and photograph, did not appear on the account holder slip information, yet he was signing up payment instructions using the identities. She said further investigation revealed that all accounts mentioned were funded with proceeds of crimes laundered by the defendant. The prosecution witness told the court that the former chairman of the defunct Pension Reform Tax Team recruited some staff of the Office of the Head of Service using the accounts to receive monies for non-existing contracts, allowances, and other illegal payments, with one Anna Igwe being the linked person to the defendant. Investigation also revealed that Abdulrasheed Maina purchased 2 houses, one in Jabi and another in Life Camp, valued at $3.4 million from the alleged proceeds of crimes. It went further to carry out a concealed income analysis to determine whether the accused or associate companies had incomes not accounted for and to establish how much he earned as a civil servant. Findings revealed that none of the companies was legal by virtue of non-registration with CAC and payment of taxes to Federal Inland Revenue Service. More so, they established that his last salary in February 2013 was 256,000 naira, of which, if put together for 35 years, will amount to 109 million naira. With the result of the concealed income and net worth analysis, the investigator concluded that the defendant was living on proceeds of crime. Hearing continues with the witness to conclude her evidence in chief and for her to be cross-examined by the defense counsel. From the Federal High Court, Abuja, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
Nigerian government in recent times have been making efforts at protecting lives and property of Nigerians amidst insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of criminality. Foundation for Civilian Peace in Nigeria is complementing these efforts by mobilizing civilians to embrace existing security framework through information sharing and community policing. Foundation for Civilian Peace is also advocating social welfare and citizens' empowerment as viable strategies to make the people see security as their business.
Has the primary responsibility to guarantee peace and security to all Nigerians. Foundation for Civilian Peace is poised to assist the government in whatever capacity to make sure peace, security, and stability returns to Nigeria.
It is organizations like this that galvanize the civilian population in all communities, no matter how remote, to create proper awareness in general regard to peace and security.
The community policing now is everybody should be ready to give information to the right authority, either the traditional rulers, through the traditional rulers, them to know the right authority, the police, where they will know they will cure this at that level.
Peace and stability will remain elusive in Africa if leaders do not address the connection between security and development. This came up at the 14th Extraordinary Summit of African Union Heads of State and Government via video link. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday reports.
It was in 2017 that the African Union launched an initiative called Silencing the Guns in Africa by 2020. Investigations showed that progress has been made in some countries and regions on the continent, but overall, it is still a daunting task with deadline approaching.
Sont les déficiences de l'État dans la gouvernance politique et économique.
Chairperson of the African Union Commission, Musa Faki Mahamat, at the summit said the initiative is the core issue to achieve the Agenda 2063 of the AU and plays a crucial role in solving weapon abuse, which is the primary problem to solve in building a conflict-free Africa.
Et l'absence de dialogue.
For the AU chairperson, Cyril Ramaphosa, African leaders must work together to stop violence and terrorism, and that only peace can truly attract investment and development opportunities for the continent's free trade area.
We are mindful that its success cannot be separated from a stable and conducive business environment that is able to attract foreign direct investment.
The leaders say the deterioration of climatic conditions, frequent natural disasters, and the spread of COVID-19 have also further increased negative impacts on the security situation on the continent. Adebola Brooklyn Sunday, NTA News.
Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio, says there is a remarkable progress to deliver the strategic East-West Road before December 2021. At a roundtable meeting of counterparts on the complementary program for the East-West Road, the minister said Section 5 of the project will be awarded immediately thereafter. Muplan Dakok has that.
For more than 14 years now, the East-West Road has been under construction. But President Muhammadu Buhari this year directed the successful execution of the project without surrendering to complacency. Representatives from the Niger Delta at this meeting suggest total compliance with the project's plan to cover other basic infrastructures such as drainage systems, hotels and conveniences, as well as clearing of markets on the highway.
We are putting all heads together, all resources, pulling all resources left, right and center to see that that road is completed. For this year, about 3/4 of our budget, capital budget of the ministry, has been earmarked on that road.
The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs advised the representatives of the South-South states along the East-West Road to ensure that the complementary program in the corridor is developed to realize the economic gains of the project.
The target is to deliver completely sections 1 to 4 of the East-West route on or before December 2021. And then, of course, we want to see to the revalidation of the award of contract for Section 5.
The East-West Road has been an ambitious project by many administrations since 2006. Its success, observers believe, will open up the area for social and economic development. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
Our next report from Umuahia says a total of 10,123 youths in Abia State have been successfully trained to tackle restiveness occasioned by unemployment and redundancy through economic empowerment in the eastern part of Nigeria by a US-based governmental organization, CONAC Foundation. The commitment is to redirect and groom youths in the rural communities to shun drug abuse, rape, kidnapping, and cultism. Steve Lonangwa reports that access to free education and scholarships were also part of the vision to achieve income security.
8 years ago, the non-governmental organization has a vision of bridging the gap, which portrayed that 70% of youths and women in rural communities are from indigent families and could not achieve much educationally due to lack of funding.
We've been improved a lot by that input into our business. I want to say thank you to CONAC Foundation.
When they gave us this money, we won 1 million naira. From that money, we have to put in our best.
We thought on how to design website, and at the end of the program, CONAC gave us computer laptop.
Entrepreneurship schemes where youth initiatives are given a platform to thrive, and mentorship as well as business grants are supported. Above all, ICT training is given priority to discourage rural-urban drifts. Rural roads, solar lights, and water installation have been the focus in some communities.
The drug problem was so much. Girls were falling pregnant, easily and all that, and we decided to say, okay, what do we do? How do we contribute? So we started with the 10 students. We said, okay, give us children that want to go to school, but they don't have anybody to sponsor them.
The foundation has also been partnering with some other organizations, including Rotary clubs in area of clean water, healthcare, and sanitations in Abia State. In Umuahia, Steve Lonai, Maokolo, NTA News.
And from the National Assembly, Senate has passed the Nigerian Police Academy Bill 2020. The bill seeks to provide legal backing to degrees awarded by the institution located in Wudil, Kano State. The police training school already in existence lacks the legal framework to award degree certificates 8 years after it was upgraded by the federal government. The primary aim of the bill is to reposition and improve service delivery in the Nigerian police. Senate has confirmed the nomination of 7 persons as members of the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, with Suleiman Kangiwa as chairman. 3 persons were also confirmed as executive directors of the board of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency. Senate has passed the 2020 FCT Appropriation Act repeal and reenactment bill of 199.2 billion naira as grand total for recurrent and capital expenditure. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives says improving health insurance for all Nigerians is necessary for the well-being of the citizens. This was during the second reading of the bill that seeks to repeal the Act on the National Health Insurance Scheme to enable the upgrading of the scheme to an authority. The bill, forwarded from the Senate, also passed second reading. Also forwarded from the Senate and passed for second reading is a bill seeking the establishment of National Transport Commission as a regulatory body. Meanwhile, House members at plenary Wednesday urged the federal government to provide access routes to the Apapa, Tin Can, and Kirikiri ports in Lagos. Now, Lagos is our first port of call, and Adeola will be our guide. Hello, Adeola.
Lydia, good to see you. The federal government has been working on the expansion of our nation's energy sources for economic growth. Have successes been recorded? How is this move generating positive activities within the energy value chain? Abolade Salami will tell us.
Gas is a close substitute for other fuels in electricity generation, a feedstock for fertilizer and petrochemical industries, and more environmentally friendly than crude. However, natural gas in Nigeria over the years has not been fully harnessed for economic gains, as more than 324 billion cubic feet of gas, equivalent to $1 billion in revenue, was fled in 2017. In an attempt to diversify so as to overcome the crude oil price volatility that mostly affects economic performance and expand the energy value chain for economic growth, the Central Bank of Nigeria in September offered 250 billion naira intervention facility as loan to companies willing to invest in gas. The initiative targeted at stimulating investment in the development of infrastructure to boost domestic gas resources for economic growth. Energy players note will aggressively drive more revenue.
By January this year, it became evident to Mr. President, who is a substantial Minister of Petroleum Resources, that we simply can't continue running the hydrocarbon industry the way we've been running for the last 70 years. And that reality, far beyond politics, has to play out. And he therefore declared 2020 as the year of gas.
As the ninth largest gas reserves country in the world, with over 188 trillion cubic feet of gas, which are exported as LNG, Nigeria now stands a better chance of reaping more of economic benefits and creation of jobs with the federal government initiative for petrol vehicles to run on LPG.
With the right mindset which is available now and the right team, we can make it fly in the use of gas as an alternative, either LPG, CNG or LNG. These are gas that we have locally and they don't need to be imported.
It is expected that the various gas expansion policies of the government will drive the needed economic and social benefits. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
And talking security now, winning the war against insurgency and other threats to national security requires dedication, professionalism, and unrelenting provision of logistics. This is why the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, has made it imperative to keep the armed forces abreast of modern mechanisms in global warfare. Lynn Leneke reports.
The Nigerian Army is paying great attention to its mid-level officers, equipping them with up-to-date knowledge and innovative ideas to boost its operations in addressing security challenges confronting the nation. In a message to the graduates of Logistics Management Course 18, Chief of Army Staff emphasized on the role of logistics support in safeguarding national security, reiterating that more logisticians will be brought on board to enable the force consolidate success recorded in warfare.
It is my belief that the infusion of 144 logisticians yearly into the armed forces after undergoing training in this college will certainly make considerable impact on any operations.
The commandant said training regimes have evolved in addressing various threats to national security.
There is no doubt that the students who are graduating here today are well equipped to cope with the challenges of providing efficient logistics support to our Army, particularly in its numerous current engagements in the Northeast, North Central, and other regions of this country.
Participants were decorated as fellows of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport, while various awards were presented. In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
And to other reports, for the African continent to effectively participate and compete on the global stage, key African industries must be revitalized and upgraded to be at par with global standards. This submission was made at a public lecture in Lagos, organized by the Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC. Awal Yusuf Jibo reports that the theme of the lecture is Global African Solidarity and Cooperation in the Aftermath of a Pandemic, COVID-19 in Perspective.
The COVID-19 pandemic took the world by surprise, as many nations were ill-prepared to contain the virus or to deal with its socio-economic fallout. Many African countries have suffered significant damage, especially to their economies. Addressing these issues informed this public gathering. Guest lecturer Comrade Olaoye Senda highlighted the successes and failures of the African Union while renewing the call for a more effective collaboration in addressing common challenges among African nations.
That wonderful and gladdening contribution of a Nigerian, Dr. Onyagu, had to do a lot with our Pfizer, manufactured that vaccine. They won't attribute most of it to Africans.
We must develop human capacity in these areas of science. It's very, very important. Because a pandemic has happened now, it can happen again.
Other discussants urged the youth to be creative, think out of the box, prefer solutions to hidden and obvious problems, as well as to embrace entrepreneurship.
I know in Africa, most of the solution, people expect it to come from the government. But we'll look at all the industrial nations and we'll see that it was actually tackled by communities, by individuals.
The Director General, Center for Black and African Arts and Civilization, CBAC, Oluwabumi Amao, says the body is motivated more than ever to preserve and promote Africa's diverse cultural heritage.
They should start looking inward. We have a lot of things to give our children for them to grow properly. We have a lot of things to teach them.
CBAC was established in 1979, following the successful hosting of Fiesta 77. In Lagos, Awal Yusuf Jibo, NTA News.
And that's a bit from Lagos. We'll go on a short break and thereafter the news continues with Lydia in Abuja.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
When you think about hospitality and affordable luxury away from home, then you talk about Sharon Ultimate Hotels, a secured and serene environment that offers kingly services such as 24-hour room service, impeccable security with CCTV surveillance, parking lots, free Wi-Fi internet service, free complimentary breakfast, restaurants that offers continental and local dishes, well-equipped fitness center with instructors, swimming pool, 350 capacity multi-purpose hall, laundry service, pastry corner, mini mart, and our suites are breathtaking. For reservation, locate us at plot 1710, Tafawa Balewa Way, Area 3, Garikia, Abuja. The Sharon Ultimate Hotels, the ultimate place.
Do you know that 35% of every girl child and women are raped on daily basis? Some are killed in the process, some take their lives in shame, others remain emotionally dead for life. It is sad. This culture is not ours, definitely not African. How did we allow bad culture to infiltrate and take over? Even if you lack fear for the law, what of fear of God? And you, why do you cover up rape acts when it happens? Remember, a problem shared is a problem half solved. Never cover any rape act because a rapist is a murderer. It could be you or your loved ones next. Women must be treated like the prize gem they are. Say no to rape.
dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day. NTA International is with you. In your living room, office, and everywhere, anywhere. We provide a company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview channel 264, or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk. Application for iOS or Android. Intelsat 901/332.5 degrees east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Newcastle United had their game called off last week. Will they be able to bounce back with a win when they welcome West Bromwich Albion to St James's Park? Find out this Saturday when Newcastle United hosts West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Axis Bank, Papa Ijebu, Lipton Tea, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
You're welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. A policy that will ensure equitable sharing of resources along disputed boundaries among affected states in Nigeria can help douse tension and crisis arising from boundary disputes. This was a key proposal dangled before members of boundary committees from north-central states by the National Boundary Commission in Abuja. Calvin Ebonaye reports.
Many states in Nigeria are currently locked in boundary disputes, largely because of natural resources deposits in such areas or simply for landmass control. But if Government Gazette on Boundary Resource Management in Nigeria is secured in agreement with all the parties, a lasting peace can be achieved, a position the National Boundary Commission says it is currently pursuing. The meeting of members of boundary committees from the north-central states with deputy governors of some of the states in attendance is one of the steps being taken to sell the idea to the stakeholders.
Boundaries in no way should constitute barrier between communities, neighboring communities, or should sever people from their properties across the boundaries. So people are free to live everywhere and own properties everywhere.
I expect that at the tail end, we would have had a better understanding about the problems that affect our interstate borders, and most importantly, their solutions.
The interactive session is expected to be replicated in other geopolitical zones in the country. In Abuja, Kelvin Ewonwaye, NTA News.
Inspired by deep appreciation for slowly and successfully getting to the end of 2020, FCT Minister of State Ramatu Tijani Aliyu flagged off the Abuja Unity Fiesta 2020 to bring smiles on the faces and laughter in the hearts of residents of the FCT. Ifani Izumba tells us more.
The Fiesta seeks to douse tension, correct misinformation and distrust, thereby sealing the cracks associated with the catastrophes in year 2020. FCT Minister of State Ramatu Tijani Aliyu emphasized the need for socially and emotionally rewarding events in the last lap of the year to ensure mental ventilation for the people of the Federal Capital Territory.
The Fun Fair is a kind of one-stop shop where everything concerning entertainment, unwinding with friends and families, sit out and taking out children to see, feel and get gifts from Santa Claus in the spirit of the Yuletide season.
This is a very laudable idea. It provides us an opportunity to relax, to unwind and even reflect on the activities through the year.
Comedians like Kenny Black, Chooks the General and MC Fresh were on ground to spice up the day.
Bringing the entertainment back home from where it kind of really started. So I think it's an amazing thing that she's doing.
The Abuja Unity Fiesta 2020 is expected to affect positively the emotional minds of some of the stakeholders in the FCT, unite the people more and present a beautiful environment with adequate security to unwind, feel and experience a memorable 2020 end-of-year Yuletide. In Abuja, Ifani Izumba, NT News.
For more stories on Nationwide, let's join Sadia from our Sokoto Network Center. Sadia, it's over to you.
Thank you, Lydia. Thanks for joining us. The Federal Ministry of Works and Housing has reiterated its commitment towards ensuring effective and efficient execution of constituency projects under the purview of the ministry. This was the position of the federal government's delegation to Kebbi State to inspect projects executed by the National Assembly members from the state. Nuraton Kwakili reports.
Constituency projects are set to be institutionalized to further broaden the scope for the provision of more dividends of democracy in Nigeria. Majority of these projects are executed through the Special Project Unit of the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, and a team from the ministry was in Kebbi State to monitor the performance of these projects executed by members of the National Assembly from the state. This is to ensure quality execution and adjustment where necessary in subsequent projects for the benefit of the electorates.
The inspection was marvelous. The contractors have really performed incredibly well because there was no point we visited solar lighting system that we experienced some vandalization or non-performance of the equipment fixed.
To benefiting communities, the projects have impacted positively on their lives and therefore looking forward to more of similar interventions.
The impact made by this construction cannot be overemphasized. In short, we are very happy with it.
Some of our children are sitting under the shade of tree. But with this, this airport built by the federal government, we are very, very appreciative.
We take very good care of those things because we know the benefit of them. We have tight security on anything that the government brought here in our location.
Some of the projects visited include schools, health facilities, water projects, and street lights, among others. Nuraton Kwakili, NTA News.
Now, Zamfara State Governor Bello Muhammad has vowed to revive the state poultry unit for improved production. The governor was speaking during a visit to the outfit, announced the approval of 30 million naira loan to get the unit resume full operation. Halur Muhammad Umar reports.
Zamfara State Poultry Unit has over the years suffered neglect, which resulted to the shutting down of production, thereby threatening many jobs created by the outfit. This prompted the State Governor Bello Muhammad to pay an unscheduled visit to the place with a view to assessing its situation for possible government's intervention. The governor, who was conducted around the various components of the unit, expressed concern over its condition and promised to provide modern production equipment for the resumption of operation. He directed management of the unit to ensure immediate repair of all broken facilities, as well as clear the environment ahead of its reopening.
Government can borrow you like 30 million to start with. We are giving you this money to put some structure here. If I see your seriousness, I assure you that I am going to put a massive development.
Governor Bello Muhammad also paid an assessment visit to ongoing construction of Zamfara State International Cargo Airport, as well as the Skills Acquisition Center, where he inspected some modern training facilities provided by his administration for entrepreneurship training to youth in the state. In Gusau, Hallir Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Lydia in Abuja.
Many thanks, Sadia. 22 states will participate in an agricultural program of the federal government and the African Union Development Agency to empower smallholder farmers in the country with grants and farming inputs. Mitari Ekpen reports that the initiative seeks to cushion the impact of COVID-19 pandemic on food security.
$1 billion have been earmarked by the African Union Development Agency to help smallholder farmers on the continent recover from the impact of COVID-19 pandemic, as well as boost farming activities and household income within the next 10 years. Nigeria has been considered to pilot the agricultural initiative as many states pledged to provide land and counterpart funding.
For us in Kwara State, we'll try and showcase that we make the best of it, and our program becomes what to be used as a sample, as a pilot project for Africa.
The required land with their coordinates is there.
The state government has voted 1 billion naira for
counterpart funding.
We're using bottom-top approach to mitigate the COVID-19 effect and ensure the employment of our youth and women, like the Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari, has declared in his 9-point agenda.
This NPED program is very important to the development of agriculture in Nigeria and Africa.
With the aim to restore 100 millions of hectares of degraded land and forest by 2030.
More states have been urged to key into the project to expand agricultural productivity and guarantee food sufficiency amidst the pandemic. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Experts in COVID-19 management in the country are blaming the recent increase in cases on poor level of compliance, calling on Nigerians to continue to adhere to COVID-19 protocols for a coronavirus-free end-of-year celebrations. This was during the discussion on increase in COVID-19 cases on Good Morning Nigeria. Olusheye Adiagbo reports.
The number of COVID-19 infections in Nigeria has been on the increase for a while now, raising the number of confirmed cases to more than 70,000 as at December 8, 2020. This rise in cases has sparked apprehension of a second wave, which the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 has been warning about.
Coronavirus is not going to go away anytime soon. There are going to be spikes here and then. So we need to get everybody on board to be part of it.
With more traveling expected this Christmas season, coordinator of the Presidential Task Force, PTF on COVID-19, Dr. Sonny Aliu, explains that Nigeria remains one of the countries with strict measures in place to fight the pandemic.
If we don't want to destroy our economy, now is the time for us to sit up and say, actually, this thing has not gone away. This is the new normal for now. While we try to get vaccines in place, let us stop the transmission. Let us get rid of this virus.
The guest suggests stiffer penalties on violators of COVID-19 protocols, particularly those traveling into the country without following the necessary laid-down rules.
People coming don't turn out for the test, and the PTF is doing something about it. So they are going to probably sanction those people that refuse to do testing.
The weather in Jos is a bit cold. People want to stay in groups. People stay indoors. People do a lot of things that aid in the transmission of diseases. So the number is likely to go high if the protocols are not seriously obeyed again.
The guest also added that though lessons have been learned and structures are already on ground to control a second wave of the pandemic if it comes, emphasis must be placed on the application of the PTF's non-pharmaceutical adversaries. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Now for an update on COVID-19, 550 more COVID-19 infections have been recorded in 16 states and the FCT, increasing the total number of confirmed cases to 70,195 in the country. Of the 550 new COVID-19 cases, Lagos has 219, the FCT has 168, Kaduna 52, Kwara 19, Kano and Rivers have 15, Sokoto 10, Enugu 9, Gombe 8, Plateau and Osun 7 each, Anambra and Oyo 5, Jigawa and Ogun confirmed 4 cases each, Bauchi has 2 cases while Edo confirmed 1. Lagos leads total number of cases per state with 24,104, while the FCT follows with 7,536 cases. Plateau has 3,921. Jos Network Center is next on our port of call, and Zinret is our guide. Zinret, hello.
Hello, Lydia. Thanks for joining us in Jos. To reduce the scourge of unemployment and uplift the economic standard of youth and women in Plateau State, the National Directorate of Employment, NDE, and the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs is providing 350 participants with basic business training. Representatives from the 17 local government areas of the state are taking part in the training at the Federal Secretariat, Jos. River Sylvanus Lott has details.
The 5 days training is to teach participants the basic principles of business and expose them to the procedures for accessing loans from the Central Bank of Nigeria. State Coordinator NDE stressed the importance of such collaborations, noting that such opportunities, if taken seriously, can be life-transforming.
Agribusiness is allowed to accommodate every one of you. If you are able to develop your business very well, I assure you that you access this law.
Representative of the Minister of Women Affairs, Pauline Talen, said dialogue with youths and women during the NSAS protest identified lack of jobs and business opportunities as a trigger for restlessness, hence this program.
This training, once you've gone through it, NDE, the state coordinator has assured they will make it easy for you to do your business plan, download it on the NISA website, and what will happen? The next is that the minister will now follow and ensure that she loves it and you get what you're supposed to get. All I need to tell you is sit up. Let us also be agrarian in farming and other things.
Between 1 to 10 million naira will be given as loans to eventually qualified participants, pending on one's ability to present and defend a good business proposal. In Jos, Rinret Silvanus Lot, NTA News.
To effectively address gender-based violence, which has been on the increase in recent time, there is need for traditional rulers to speak and stand as advocates to curb the menace in the society. This key role was defined when the National Human Rights Commission in Plateau State paid homage to the Bongom Jos, that His Royal Majesty, Da Jacob Gyang Buba. Kim Gotts reports that this visit is part of the Commission's 16 days of activism.
With the increasing cases and tendencies of physical, sexual, and psychological violence against women, the role of traditional rulers has been underscored in terms of educating and creating awareness in rural communities. Leader of the delegation and Director, National Human Rights Commission, Plateau State, Veronica Abbe, in company of other sister organizations, seek to solicit the collaboration and support of the Royal Father, Da Jacob Gyang Buba, in stemming the harmful gender-based practices and other forms of sexual violence against women.
Create greater awareness in our communities about the impact of all forms of sexual violence against women and children. Work actively to change attitudes and practices that perpetuate these crimes in homes, families, institutions, and communities, including corporal punishment.
Bongom Jos and Chairman Plateau State Traditional Council of Emirs, Da Jacob Gyang Buba, stressed that as a matter of urgent public importance, sharp cultural and traditional practices threatening the existence of women must be abandoned, noting that key players must collaborate to make the society a better place.
All we need to do is to look at our cultures and traditions, and those practices that are not in line with our religions, we drop them.
The Bongom Jos further call on parents and religious leaders not to neglect their responsibilities in protecting women and the girl child. In Jos, Kim Gotts, NTA News.
That's it from this end. Nationwide continues after this break.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support, yes, by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
Life can be very eventful. We curiously expect things to happen, even when we don't know what. Our human nature makes us like and repost lots of information. Some are unverified, inciting anger and hate. Sometimes innocently, other times the urge to break it first. This, in most cases, has caused destruction in many nations.
NTA News 24, a 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
We regret to announce the death of our beloved father, Alhaji Muhammadu Kazura. Before he died, he was the Wakili of the district head of Kazura, Birniwa local government area of Jigawa State. He died on Wednesday, 25th November 2020, after a brief illness and has since been buried according to Islamic rites. Alhaji Abbas Muhammad Kazura, announcer.
Newcastle United had their game called off last week. Will they be able to bounce back with a win when they welcome West Bromwich Albion to St James's Park? Find out this Saturday when Newcastle United hosts West Bromwich Albion on the Premier League Live, showing on the NTA network from 3:30 p.m. The Premier League Live is brought to you by Access Bank, Papai Jebu, Lipton Tea, and Close Up in association with Gold.com.
Thanks for staying on to Nationwide. Enugu is next and Susan is our guide.
Thank you and welcome to Enugu Network Center. To draw citizens' input into government's budget and planning, the Enugu State government has organized a one-day public engagement on the 2021 draft budget. Deputy Governor Cecilia Ezilo said the idea of citizens' participation in budgeting is in line with the Open Government Partnership Initiative. Correspondent has details.
To enhance corporate accountability and transparency in governance, Nigeria is an active participant in the Open Government Partnership Initiative in Africa. Since Enugu State adopted the initiative in 2017 as a key element of its governance style, citizens are drawn from across the state to make input in budgeting. Participants in this hall are here to contribute to the 2021 draft budget. The idea, according to the Deputy Governor, is to reverse the trend of low citizens' participation in budget cycle.
Through this activity, stakeholders that engage with the general public are given the opportunity to make input into the appropriation document, thereby making it a citizen's budget.
This exercise is expected to produce 2021 working documents that reflect the will and desires of the different communities in Enugu State. Meanwhile, the 2020 appropriation bill was revised from 169 billion naira to 146 billion, a decline of 13.6% due to the changes in the macroeconomic assumptions of the 2020 budget. In Enugu,
about 775 registered rice farmers under Adani irrigation project with 7 sectors are on the verge of being shot into limelight, thereby addressing the issue of unprecedented hardship on average Nigerians, as rehabilitation of about 1,120 hectares of land has begun on Adani irrigation project. Comfort IM also reports that this is even as the federal government has promised to address other challenges confronting rice farmers in the southeast in an effort to attain its national food sufficiency campaign program of lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty by the year 2030.
High yield and double cropping cycle per year has been the target of Nigerian rice farmers, especially in the southeast region. However, this vision and mission have suffered setback over the years, following numerous challenges confronting them, with borders on slippage and spillages, blockages of canal, total collapse of cross drainages at the main canal, lack of adequate water irrigation management officers, absence of surveillance team, among others.
Irrigation facilities or irrigation projects is capital intensive, and therefore we have to move to be able to get enough signal of funds in order to rehabilitate the project, effectively.
Participation is very, very key, and that is why we have the farmers from within and outside.
The farmers explained that the project started in 1975. After the Civil War, the Dream Project metamorphosed to East Central States Agric Development Authority, ECSADA. The authority further gave birth to two companies, the popular Ada Rice and that of World Bank Project.
We are happy for the president of the federal government here. When this project is being completed, our life will come back again.
The rehabilitation project of about 1,120 hectares, when completed in February 2021 as promised by the federal government, is expected to bring about availability and affordability of food, employment generation for the youth, and possibly encourage foreign exchange earnings. In Enugu, Comfort IM, NTA News.
That's our contribution from Enugu. Nationwide continues in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Susan. Sports Update is next.
Welcome to Sports Update. I am Tamara Ebiwe. We'll begin with cricket, where the Nigeria Cricket Federation says the task before the newly appointed